Hey traders, welcome to another edition of the Crypto Lab with Alex. I hope, featured by Trading Analysis, I hope you are all well and fine. We are going to do our ordinary stuff today, starting with the macro outlook and then switching over to the crypto space. I have a question from John Kingston about explanation on why I always look at the S&P yields and gold and the general macro outlook. So I'm looking at firstly because there is also an interest from the either members of the trading analysis or from the outside public for a little bit of mix, not just cryptos. And secondly, we are looking the macro outlook in regards of the available liquidity which might flow into the crypto space. One of the general themes is also that cryptos are still not decoupled, and I think they will never be from the general macro picture and the liquidity available in the system, as well as what the actual central banks are doing. So we have seen in the past the overflow of this liquidity into the crypto space and the outflows as well when the stock markets are moving lower, as well when the yields are moving up. So there has been a correlation between these two. And in general, we have used this macro outlook for the last year even to address some of the tops that we have seen in May and also in November in 2021. So I think it helps to see the overall picture, and I think it helps to see how the general market behaves when the liquidity is available and when the liquidity is scarce. Okay, so that's one of the main reasons we also do look a little bit of a macro scene. So let's start, guys. Let's look what is going on a 10-year yields. I'm going to show you what is actually happening in this CME Fed tool. Okay, this is very interesting to see because we are seeing markets are pricing in very aggressively the rate hikes in the next couple of months, and I will show you that. This is the tool actually with percentage wise how the markets are actually viewing the possibility of the movements in the interest rates on the upside. And as you can see, for the 16th of March, almost 86.7% that the rates are going to move higher in the United States. Then we go to May, we are at 71.8 for the rates move up between 50 to 75 basis points. So this will be 0.5 to 0.75 basis points in the rates. Then if we go to June, this is actually 65.7% market is pricing in a move in rates from 75 to 1%. So as you can see, the market is pretty much poised, reflecting the hawkish stance of a Federal Reserve to catch up with inflationary numbers, and they're pricing aggressively next 3 hikes in the next 3 meetings. So I will not go further because some things can change. If the economy balance itself, we can move into a more subdued rate increases up to the end of 2021, and I do expect that, but only if we leave behind in the next month or two and we start opening more and resolving these supply side issues. The energy costs are pretty high, as you know, so if the economy balance itself, I think that inflation and energy prices should maybe go a little bit lower, and then the OPEC and the other non-members should most likely increase supply, and also the transportation cost might go down. So we might see if this happens. Of course, it is conditioned that the inflation kind of slows down and takes the other trajectory to the downside. So don't forget, this is considered as a cyclical move up still in the inflation. So we have also the secular, which is a higher actually forces which influence inflationary environment, which are demographics and technology. And as soon as we see the supply side and energy balance itself, if the economy starts to function again in the full throttle, I think that inflation should stop and actually reverse in the next year or year and a half, going into the maybe third quarter in 2023. But until we get there, things might become a little bit exuberant in regards of the rate moves, as we see hawkish Fed, and today we have seen also Bank of England moving rates on the upside. ECB is also starting to be pretty hawkish, so this environment actually suggests that liquidity will be less into the system. At least bank reserves and also QE should go down from the central banks, therefore decreasing these bank reserves available to the banking system. So let's go back to 10-year yields. It's pretty much the same picture. We are trading around 2%. As you can see, 1.84. Actually now we do see a move up around 2% and a little bit above. So I'm very interested to see what the rates are going to do here. If we start to move decisively on the upside in rates, we will have to turn this to be more impulsive, even up to 3.3% in the next couple of quarters. So I'm still going to keep this wave count. This is just an A down in B and 5 waves up in C, up to this 2% or a little bit more above. And then from there, I will still expect some type of a reversal down to 1 to 1.2%. But if we see a decisive break of this 2%, we'll have to change this wave count into a more bullish one in rates. I hope that this will not happen, because the rates on the upside will have an effect on many assets classes, and I think as well it's going to affect crypto space. So let's move to the European scene. This is the 10-year Bund, and this is the price chart instead of the yields charts. And I use this chart because it is just clearer in regards of the wave counts where we are. So I still do consider this as an uncompleted 5-wave move. This is a pretty strong support here at 159. Where is the support zone? This for now looks corrective in the ABC X ABC, so possibly a complex correction down to some around these levels, from where I think due to either let's say geopolitical global events, or as I said, the economy balance itself in a couple of quarters, and we continue to see these secular forces weight on the economy, and actually we go further into deflationary environment. So this still left to be seen. My support levels are here, whereas the previous lesser degree wave 4, ranging from 155 to 159. So we are still going to monitor these developments here, considering this to be just a corrective move in a wave 4, paired with this flat and the second move here, which we saw from 2008, 9, and 10 developing here. In regards of the dollar index is moving lower. The pattern, I think, is still not finished. I still see this as a ongoing development. We have reached a new high. We can actually place the wave C here, but from this perspective we only see 3 waves, which suggests we might be in some type of an ending diagonal here in this wave C, which will take a couple of weeks to develop further. The key level from this dollar index wave count is at 94.48. If this is taken, we'll have to switch and potentially put this wave C here and consider this the first 5-wave move down in dollar. So we do think that 2022 and potentially first 2 quarters in 2023 will be negative for dollar. Looking at this chart, as long as we trade below this area here, which is actually 0.618 and 786 retracements levels from this fall from the beginning of the COVID crisis in 2020. So we count this as a 1-2, down in 3, 4, and a small truncation in a wave 5. Then we have seen a 5 waves up in A, down in B, and currently we are looking this as a potential 1-2 up in 3, 4 without a very important rule. Wave count invalidation was not breached here, and we have seen 3 waves so far. So I think we are going to see some type of an ending diagonal, and ending diagonals are patterns which are marked with the 3 waves in every leg with the following corrections. And there is a couple of rules in this ending diagonals which actually suggests that the wave 1 should be the longest one in the contracting type of this ending diagonal, then the wave 3 will be a little bit shorter, and then the wave 5 will be even more shorter, maybe reaching this 0.618, from where we might see the reversal and starting of a new downtrend in dollar. So as long as we trade within this area, I'm going to keep this stance. The dollar is going to weaken in the 2022 and possibly much over 2023. I see that on many asset classes, on many currencies as well. So potentially in a couple of weeks, we might see that reversal and follow up to the downside. As regards of the gold and silver, so let's look at the current charts in the gold and silver. Not much has been changed there. So our triangle is still working pretty much nicely. We have seen a move down on the Fed press conference. We have marked this as a B wave. We didn't cross a couple of key resistance levels. We do consider this to be a wave E. On the downside, in this consolidation, this is a very corrective price structure. We don't see clearly a 5-wave move to the downside, which actually suggests that, like in a Bitcoin, this is just a pause before we continue to move on the upside. It is also possible we are forming a little bit more complex correction because with the wave 4s, there is a couple of forms which can actually morph. And in this case, this will be a little bit more aggressive move to the downside, breaking this key 1,672 levels and going a little bit further down in 1,550 levels, where we can expect a potential reversal on the upside. So my primary wave count is this triangle, and it is pairing well with the actual developments that we see in a dollar index. Dollar and gold have some correlation, inverse correlation, as also dollar with commodities. So I'm going to look for a little bit more downside movement here to 1,731. And from there, we need to see 5 waves up to actually have a reversal signature and the confirmation that the new uptrend in gold might begin, which will definitely challenge and most likely even overpass these latest highs, which we have seen in September, July, September 2020, and actually go above 2075.2 on the price of gold. Situation in the silver is the same. We are getting our move lower, which we anticipated. This silver correction has been pretty much sideways for almost a year and a half. And currently we do look this as some type of a complex correction, going a little bit lower down to this 16 to 18 area, where we have a couple of clusters of the fib relation from a different perspective and degrees in this wave count. So we do see silver crossing these K support levels, maybe as a little bit of a fake move to the downside. Maybe pick up some stop losses, which are basically located below this key support zone, and then actually 5 waves up and a correction will be a reversal signature for the silver moving higher in 2022-23 up to this, let's say, 35 and even to 45 levels on the upside. So the picture is moving as we were thinking for most of 2021. Silver and gold are developing, as well as dollar index are developing this relatively, I will not say predictive, but visible wave structures. And if these things stay as it is now, I think there will be not much of a surprises looking this couple of wave counts. Okay, so let's switch to cryptos, guys. Many things has been happening in the crypto space. I always like to start with the total crypto market cap. I will just add something which maybe you will find very peculiar, but I see in a crypto community, many people think that dollar and Bitcoin are actually inversely correlated. And as you can see, this inverse correlation has no grounds. Okay, so Bitcoin and dollar actually, both of them are moving actually higher in prices from 2011, as you can see. So they are not inversely correlated, which means that if the dollar moves down, not necessarily Bitcoin will move up, and vice versa. So sometimes there is a couple of linked assets classes which has pretty much a nice correlation. This is not ideal correlation because with the extreme events in 2020, actually COVID crisis and Fed moving rates down to 0% and also extending the central bank swap lines, offering dollars around the world, so to prevent actually dollar to moving too much higher, we have seen a drop in dollar, and Bitcoin has moved higher due to different things. So we see a breakup of this upside movement, but this is not enough. If we look the 10-year period, that actually they have inverse correlation. They don't. Okay, even in some instances, as you can see here, both of them has been moving lower in a couple of months difference, and both of them has been moving higher, as you can see. So don't count that if dollar goes down, Bitcoin will go up, because this inverse correlation is actually, as you can see on the chart, is not established. There is many influences and different influences that actually goes into a dollar index, including interest rates, liquidity, and many others. And also there is a couple of different things that actually influence Bitcoin. But as we see so far, they are not at all in the inverse correlation. So I just wanted to clear that out for the crypto community. We cannot look this and think that Bitcoin will move up if the dollar moves down. It can happen, but still, if you look the last 10, 11 years, this inverse correlation is actually not established, so you can rely on it so that it can happen at least above 60% of probability. Let's move to the total crypto market cap. So as you know, we have been very vocal in a couple of times that potentially we are going to see some highs in a total crypto market cap. We still do count this as a wave 1 and 2, up in 3, 4, and 5. We still have a triangle here. One of the peculiarities of the triangles is then usually they stay around 23% retracement in a sideways consolidation. Okay, so that perfectly depicts this possibility as a triangle lasting a couple of weeks or even months or two more before we do this wave D and E, and actually we start moving higher. Okay, so we do consider this as a probable end of the crypto winter. We do think that crypto winter started in March 2021, where actually market was blinded by the very bullish sentiment, because 99.9% of the market and in the crypto community was bullish, calling for the 200, 300, 500, 100K Here, of course, we have seen a reversal, and also at the end of November, we have seen the same thing. Market was holding 100K until the end of the year, and we all know what have happened. A pretty brutal reversal here, which actually proved our thesis that we are already in the crypto winter from the March 2021, and that actually this bull run contained a seed which was not visible because of the very bullish sentiment. I think this will happen same here, especially if we break the C wave low and continue a little bit lower, which is also possible. So the other pattern that we are looking also in the crypto market cap and in the Bitcoin is some type of a flat, which will actually means that we break below 1.2 trillion and go down to actually below 1 trillion. I don't think it's possible, but we have to take that into account as a possibility. Okay, the RSI on this weekly are coming closer to these levels when we had a nice reaction on the upside, as you can see here. So we are very close. So I don't think that flat might be something that we should look at this moment. So I think we should be focused on a possibility of a triangle, and that in that case, this will be confirmed if we see a market cap moving above 2.2, 2.3 trillion, especially if we see three waves on the upside. That will actually be a confirmation that we are in the wave D. We're going to have a little bit more downside in a wave E, and off we go. We can see the expansion in the crypto. Total market cap around 4 to 6 trillion, depends where these targets for the wave 5 actually would be. So not much of a news in regards in the crypto community. We have seen that the Biden administration is moving towards the regulation of the crypto space. Also big news from India, but with a caveat, 30% tax. So India was behaving, in my opinion, pretty much smart. There is a lot of savvy tech people in India. The interest for cryptos are pretty big in India. So the government, I think, figured out it's better to tax it and has an income on it than to ban it. Although I think that 30% is pretty large tax in regards of the crypto space. I mean, you can live with like 15-20%, but 30%, I think it's a little bit too much. And definitely I see a community a little bit relieved because they didn't ban it, because it's a market of 1.5 billion people. But of course, it's with a little bit of sore notion or a note, because 30% tax is a relatively huge amount in regards of the crypto space. Let's look at the Bitcoin chart. As you know, we have been looking for a couple of possibilities in a Bitcoin chart. So let me go on a daily level. We can go also to switch to weekly. Our support levels actually hold. I have published this on a Twitter account a couple of days before that. We have a type of a WXY here in this C wave leg of a triangle with a couple of very strong fib ratios, which are actually holding. We still do think this is a triangle, but we need to see a move above 40K. So in order to confirm a possibility of a D wave, I need to see this A wave go to this 200 moving average, trading around 45 to 47.5K, then a little bit move down in a B wave, down back to this 40K or around, and then a C wave up to, let's say, 50 to 55K. And for that, we need to see a 5-wave moves on the upside. So we don't see that for now. Price action on Bitcoin has been pretty much sluggish so far, and not much decisiveness in the move on the upside. And I think people are afraid because many crypto enthusiasts was burned in this pretty sizable move on the downside. So I think there is not much decisiveness yet. If you look the larger picture, this will look like this. So we are still in some type of a consolidation, we do see from the beginning of 2019, 5 waves up, 3 waves a pullback. This was rather a simple correction. As you can see, 200 moving average was keeping Bitcoin pretty nicely. It was starting to fluctuate here between these two supports, 30K and 40K, very strong supports for the Bitcoin, up and down until we broke it to the downside. And now we are trading around 36, 37K, which is still not enough to confirm actually a triangle. In the possibilities of a flat, I'm going to show you that option. That will mean actually we will break this 30K and we will go down to this next support level, which are pretty strong. So the question is, are we going to hold these levels, or something will happen that we are going to continue lower towards this very strong 20K zone? So in this zone of the 20 to 22K, you have a couple of very strong things. I will show you that on weekly because I think visibility is pretty nice on a weekly level. So if you look that on a weekly level, you will see you have a couple of things. This 200 moving average on weekly, which has been holding pretty much the previous lows with a small overlap here, might actually also start to meet this price of a Bitcoin here if we go below this 28.8, where the triangle will be invalidated. Also, this can be some type of a very complex correction where we might have even here a flat and X and then some type of an A up and B down in C towards this 20K. But for now, I will just stay with the potential flat if we continue directly below 30K. You see this is a base channel, which usually acts as a very strong support. You have a 38.2% retracement. We said the triangles usually stay within this 23.6 retracement ratio, and 38.2 is the most common ratio for the fourth wave pullback when you look the Elliott wave 5-wave move on the upside. So this is statistically the biggest level where we seen actually the price stops and reverses in the current direction of the trend. Okay, so we don't think that the trend in Bitcoin, let me close this up a little bit closer for you. So we don't think that actually the trend is going to change. We don't think we are in a bear market in the Bitcoin. We think this is just a pause, which we were starting to announce already back in 2021 in March. We were looking here a little bit how this will develop, and in November this was clear actually that this will be a top, which you can look the crypto labs in back and see how we handled actually this type of development here. And now we are seeing a still not completed a 5-wave structure to the downside. If we trade below 28.8, which will be actually the wave A of a triangle, and in that case, if we see the price moves lower, this will be invalidated. Okay, and then on the scene we will have a flat down to this level. We have also the RSI on the Bitcoin, which was reacting on this weekly level pretty nicely in the last two lows. So this was a 2018 end lows, this was a 2020 COVID crisis move lower, with the Nasdaq and S&P moving sharply lower when the crisis was actually starting to kick in March. And as you can see, the RSI lower on weekly was pretty much telling you the story, what can happen next. And we are approaching this level. We are still not there, but we are not very far from the potential one more move down, which might coincide with some of these levels we look. We have a base channel 38.2%, we have a 200 moving average and the RSI. So this is a focal point for the Bitcoin if we go out of the triangle, and sometimes market will go to this place in a most unusual way. So you can actually expect that the most biggest pain for the crypto community and the crypto holders of the longer term will be inflicted here around 20K, where I expect to see the extreme in the sentiment like I saw it here when it was the bullish sentiment on the upside. Okay, so definitely we have to agree that 20K will be the most painful next price in the Bitcoin move lower, and I think that a lot of hands will start shaking if we reach these 20 to 22K levels, and the sentiment will be pretty bearish, I think, for the Bitcoin. And that is the time when we need to look on the other side, and when I think the trend will change. Okay, so I think that was a pretty much clear. Only two outlooks for now. I don't like to give many outlooks in regards of the Elliott wave. You can also put in many. There is at least 5 or 6 solutions that can happen here. Looking this macro environment and looking all what is happening, I do think for now we're going to stay in triangle. If not, if we break 28.8 K, I think 20K will be the last level from where we should see a 5-wave move up, which will actually be the reversal signature. And with the pullback, we are going to see a continuation move on the upside. If you look from the Elliott wave perspective, wave count invalidation, which means that all of this, what we are actually explaining here, is not valid, comes around 13,826. So it's pretty far. Okay, a move down to these levels will definitely put us in the situation that we might see actually even 4K next if we go below this 13K. I don't think that will happen. And I don't prepare for it. I do think that the worst case scenario will be 20K. So let's switch to Ethereum, which is in the most similar situation because it has a high coefficient ratio with the price of the Bitcoin. So I still do think we are in some type also of a triangle. So this will be a wave 1 and 2, a very nice and sharp wave 3 reaching 2618%, one of the ratio of the projections we do see the price actually achieves when it moves on the upside. There is a couple of them, and you can look at it here in our wonderful tool multi-wave. There is equality also 1618, so there is a couple of ratios. We look, and Ether being very progressive on the upside has reached this 2618 on the upside and starts to move pretty much sideways. So this opens a couple of forms as well as in Bitcoin what can happen. 200 moving average on weekly, as you can see here, is pretty much also very soon will be in the territory where the last 2 lows happens. So I don't think we will go to this extreme, which will also be one of the extremes which will be the most painful for the Ethereum holders. Okay, so I'm still going to stay with triangle for now. If we break this key level here around 1705, then you can look for a very I will not say big drop, but dramatic in that respect that nobody expects, which means that we might be in some type of a flat as well in the Ether, and that we continue down towards this 1000, 1200 support levels. Time ratio between the time we spend in the wave 2 and the time we are spending in the wave 4 are still very well measured. As you can see, equality ratio, which means the time we spend in the wave 2 was actually crossed by the wave 4 just a couple of days before, actually on January 24th. And that is something which we consider as a guideline of the right look as a very positive development, because usually wave 4s are a little bit longer in time, except when you have a very complex wave 2, then you can have a simple wave 4 and we can spend even 0.618 in time. So this one definitely tells us we are in a very long consolidation. I will stay again as in Bitcoin, very well pointing out to you these key levels which you need to look. 1000, this level with where we mark this wave A, which actually comes 1700. You should be watched very carefully. If we cross that on the downside, most likely this will turn into a 5-wave move, and then we will have a 3-wave down in A, 3-wave up in B, and 5 waves down in C, which will make a flat corrective wave structure. And from there, you can expect a potential reversal signature, which will mean that we will climb very sharply in the Ether above 2,600, have a small pullback, and then continuation towards the target we have on the upside. So I hope that is clear, guys. I'm gonna stay, I'm conservative in nature, and I don't like to be very, as I said many times on this crypto lab, I'm not gonna go from the worst case scenario, but I'm gonna warn you that specific levels, if crossed, might be pretty much difficult for these two cryptocurrencies, namely leading also the others lower. Okay, so if you have any questions regarding Bitcoin and Ether, please put them in the chat box. If you have also some cryptos, preferably we can do a couple of them. So don't ask for a couple of them. I don't have a time to do all of them. So be respectful or other colleagues or crypto traders that are there, and maybe just list one which you like the most, so we can look some wave or chart patterns on them for you. So let me see what is in the chat box, guys. As always, like to interact with you, exchange some opinions. So John, we explained why we looked also the macro space, so I don't think we need to repeat that. Alchemist, hello Alex, waiting to hear your tales from the Crypto Lab. Yeah, we have now a new standard winter crypto tales. Kathleen, hello Kathleen. Hey Alex, looking forward to it. Hey Alex, great answer, thank you. Copper, yeah, we're not going to look copper today. Felix, you can look our Wednesday trading analysis. I do sometimes copper there because it's more concerned with only macro outlook and some commodities as well. So try to watch on Wednesday also on the trading analysis channel. Our team in stocks with Bennett and Terry do a phenomenal job on that. I'm just as a team member there, just looking a little bit to uncover what is going on the macro space, which are very important for stocks. So please look next Wednesday. Schnitzel, zdravo Schnitzel, it's on Serbian. Rune and Dot, okay, are the questions. Can you look at LTF for hours? Anthony Smith, thank you Alex, your analysis is much appreciated. No problem, Anthony. Hey Alex, may I see your count for 1 inch? Yeah, we can do 1 inch. I have already prepared Harmony 1. Can you look seller XR Atom, please? Okay, so many requests. Let's start and look a couple of cryptos. Let me just go to my crypto Binance feed, where I have a little bit more of this. Anyhow, in the members area, we look all of them. So 1 inch, we have been pretty much following this wave count nicely. So from the beginning, and I think this is all data for 1 inch, we are looking here for something which we think is a little bit of a, let's say, I will not say expanding flat, because this B wave didn't went to a new high, but we are in the zone of this to be a regular flat. So this we can count 5 waves up, as you can see here. So let me unglare this so you can see it more clearer. And then from there, we are seeing a 3-wave move down in A, 3-wave move up in B, and now we are counting this as a 5-wave move down in C, which is maybe even close to finish. We have to pay attention on a couple of ratios here, because wave 3 cannot be shortest in the sequence. So let's check this if that is okay. For now, they have equality, which is okay, which actually puts this wave count to be fine. And then we think that we are still in some type of a consolidation before we go a little bit lower. And then if you see a reversal signature, that will be portrayed by the 5-wave moves up to this couple of resistance levels, a small pullback, and that will be a potential reversal signature like it was here. So before, a couple of months back, we were counting this as a 1, ABC down in a wave 2, and we had a nice 5-wave move up, and actually this was a perfect entry for this possible wave 3 or a wave C to the downside. So let me just show you this ratio, which was pretty awesome, and it was actually equal or a measured move as we look. So let me just try to do that for you. So this is this green ratio that you see here, which was actually almost exact, measuring this wave A up in B and down in C as a measured move. So we have followed this as a possible development of this higher degree wave 3 here, but we noticed a huge reversal, and then we switched almost immediately to the bearish wave count, because such a reversal was not pretty sustainable for the possibility you're in the wave 3. When you're in the wave 3, you want to see just a small pullback and a further expansion on the downside. So we noticed something strange is happening. We turned to the downside, which was actually a pretty smart thing to do. And I think now we are still have a little bit more downside in 1 inch before we potentially can make some lows. I do not call lows until I see this confirmation reversal. So let's be careful about it. But yeah, maybe we are close. Let me stay with that sentence. Okay, guys, let me see what is more. Okay, Luna. Yeah, I have been very vocal regarding Luna. I have posted that on Twitter a couple of weeks ago. And from our levels, Luna has been down almost 50%. That was a rather successful chart. I will show you also Luna, because it's interesting when you look at it on the log scale, and this is actually was around our levels for the reversal. This is a log scale chart. If you look the arithmetic chart, Luna actually completed a 5-wave move, but the retracement is maybe already finished, or it has a little bit more downside. Again, we will need to confirm this. Also, this can be the case that we have some type of a 1-2 here, as you can see, but the price chart doesn't look good on arithmetic scale. You can count 5 waves up, as you can see here, and you can count the 3 waves down. So I still don't think we are done. Maybe we go a little bit lower, and that would pair with 1 inch and some other cryptos that we are seeing potentially bottoming. Okay, so I don't want to claim anything in regards of that until I see a reversal signature, and that for me is a must almost always. XPRT, okay, let's look at that one. Wait, so let me just find something which has a little bit more data. I don't think this is something which has more data on it. So let me just go and try to find it here. XPRT, which is a persistence. Yeah, persistence is moving lower. We need to see some reversal soon. Okay, so let me show you. I have a wave count on persistence, which actually says that this should be actually an ABC correction. But when we deal with some things like this, I don't want to see much of this 786 retracement past. Okay, so when I see 5 waves up and potentially 3 waves down, some type of a triangle or a B wave and a longer C wave, I want to see a reversal or a signature around these levels, around 0.786, which is actually the retracement levels when you put them on the side, measuring this leg on the upside. So we are there. We need to see very soon a reversal on persistence if we want to stay bullish. And I want to see a price action moving rapidly higher in some type of a wave 1, which will actually tell me that this was actually a potential low, and that persistence after a small correction will continue higher. So when RSI on daily is very low, I think on weeklies also, it's already fell pretty much to the downside. So I need to see some reversal, and especially on the daily level. Okay, so persistence must to reverse in the next week or in the next week or two latest, to consider this still to be a potentially a correction. Let me see, Rose. We didn't look Rose, I think, too much. It's holding well. We are trading around equality, 5 waves up, a type of a strange pullback downside. It can be considered as a flat, because you have a 5 waves move lower, so this will be A up and B. Sometimes you see this, it's in the Elliott wave, actually, Elliott himself called that a slanting flat, which you can find in his book. It's a rare event when you see that instead of expanding flat and this highs goes higher, you have a pretty huge 5 waves down, and he called that a rather rare event, and he named it as a slanting flat. For the somebody, it's a very rare thing to occur. So I doubt many people know about this type of a form that Elliott actually named like that, and that is the case with potentially this wave structure that we see here. Then from the potential wave 2, we are seeing a nice expansion on the upside here in a 1, 2, up in 3, 4, and 5. So potentially these levels should hold here. These two levels, this first one and the second one, around 0.24, and then from there we should potentially start to move on the upside and complete this wave 3 further. Okay, I do expect one more push. Something which definitely I don't like to see on the Rose is that if we continue to this level lower, and that will be actually very detrimental for the price of Rose. Here we cannot have the wave degree violation if we count this as a 1, 2, 1, 2. But let's stay with the conservative version for now, and let's monitor this one. I don't think we will go below these two support levels, as you can see here, and from there we might see some price action, possibly starting to continue higher, and maybe reaching a little bit more higher prices in this move on the upside. Harmony. Okay, let's look Harmony. Yeah, Harmony is looks like a 5 wave move, which is definitely sometimes not very good occurrence. So if you look this as a wave 1, you go down in a wave 2 here, then you have a 1, 2. You can consider this a wave 3 in the lesser degree, and you can consider this to be the end of the lesser degree wave 3. So in general, this might portray to be some type either of a small triangle or a flat. Okay, let me just label this for you. We have reached 1618, which is always a nice projection for the potential wave 3. So in that case, we would label this something like this as a wave 4 and as a wave 5 on the upside. So this might be some type of a 335, maybe even it might be a running flat, but we are already very close to lows, so it can be just now in this instance a regular flat or expanding one, going a little bit lower. This also base channel support might give you a clue, and the RSI on daily should actually continue a little bit to go sideways. So some around 0.11 or a little bit higher. So I will be watching, if I will be looking this one, I will be watching what the Harmony will do at that levels. Okay. Okay, so I don't know what's. Did we look to VU? I don't think there is much of a data there. Just correct me if this is the one, um, because I don't know where I can find it. Okay, let's do quickly. Rune, Torchain. Yeah, the count is pretty much working as we have it. So I labeled this as a potential. Um, 1, 2, up in 3, 4. So we are at the support level. We have still maybe not 5 waves down from this. There is a 3 waves down, 3 waves up, and 1, 2. Or we can count this as a 1, 2, down in 3, 4, and 5. So definitely some of these zones around 2.7, 2.6 should maybe hold for this wave 4. And then from there you should see a reversal signature. So it's pretty much working as we have it. So if you want to find out in regards of some charts, Litecoin, you can find it on my Twitter feed. So it's I published a couple of charts there weekly. So if you like to track, you can actually join me at TAFX Crypto Lab. So I published Litecoin here on a daily wave count. It's a pretty difficult count, I will say. This states, as I looked at it here, as a wave 1 and 2, very sharp move up in 3, wave 4, and we are in the final wave 5. And in this wave 5, we are in the intermediary wave 4 correction, which from 74 to 70 should maybe display some reversal signature on the upside. Okay. Yeah, flow obviously didn't, my wave count didn't work. I was looking for some type of an ABC and we got even lower. So this creates in flow a pretty difficult thing. So that's why always I say, when you are dealing with the waves and the probabilities, always wait for reversal signature, okay? So that is very useful habit because you will not try to buy any lows and be smart. Okay, so currently this looks like a 5 waves down with the 3 waves correction, and then you have a wave 1 and 2, 3, 4, and 5. So look for a 360. This might turn out to be some triangulation. We need to see clearly 5 waves up here and above this channel to consider flow to be something more exuberant on the upside. But for now, as you can see, it has only 3 waves down. So we cannot derive anything from it. Even having, maybe this is not the whole chart, probably it's not. Let's see on a trading view, do we have a bigger chart of flow? Calculated by trading view, maybe we have, yeah, I don't think so. This is a bigger chart. So we will have to stay with this one. And for now, this is not enough to confirm a reversal signature. Okay. Okay, we looked Harmony, we looked Drip. I don't think I ever looked Drip. Drip Network, oh, pretty nice move on the upside. So I don't know what's going on there. But let's go on a smaller time frame. So pretty low liquidity. You can see how the things is working here. It's almost vertical on the upside. So we have 1, 2. Maybe this is some type of wave forward. You can never be sure when this explosive things develops. I don't know actually who is behind these projects. So if this is some type of a wave 4 and we go a little bit higher, I have no idea. I mean, for now, when I see these expansions in crypto, I'm very careful, and you know why I'm careful. Okay, so for now, I think it is fair to look this as a potential fourth wave consolidation, either in triangle, but I would like these lows to stay intact here around 120. I would not like to see a penetration on the downside. If that happens, this wave 4 can be deeper, but I will be very careful if this turns out to be something which will bring this price down to its beginning level. I'm repeating, I don't know the project. Maybe project is good and sound. There is no pump and dump intentions inside behind it. But in general, I'm usually very careful when I see these strong legs. I'm trying to be more reasonable than to rush into it. Okay, we looked this at Torchain. We looked at 1 inch. We looked at XPRT. We looked at near. Okay, let's see near. Okay, so this is not the whole, this should be the whole chart, something has happened. Okay, so near, I think near is still working out the wave 3 on the upside. So if this is a wave 1 and 2, this should be something which we call usually a flat, or it is a wave 2. So look for support levels around here. This will be my support levels for near. I will just unglare the charts here for you so you can see it. If I look also the weekly level and if I look the chart, we are still within the corrective channel, as you can see, which is not something which we usually like to see. But if you see when some of the things starts to develop and potentially break on the upside, what you might see, instead of counting this as a 3 waves only, I will give it a more chance to prove me its worth and actually display a potentially a flat here in a wave 2 and then starts breaking higher for this wave 3 on the upside. Okay, that will have some logic. So key level which will be very possible for me around 6.37. A move lower will already endanger this guideline of the wave degree violation. So if you have a higher degree wave being so long, you don't and you should not expect that the secondary or a smaller degree wave should have the same length or longer in a wave 2. That's impossible because and it's very logical if you think. If you have the wave 1 and 2 on a primary degree and you're expecting wave 1 and 2 on the intermediary degree, which are actually the sharpest moves that you can expect, you don't expect there for a wave 2 to be something complex or very long. Usually they are very sharp affairs, just to pull back and then woof, you're up in the third wave on the upside. So I think that's wave degree violation and the guideline has so much sense if you're operating within the Elliott wave world. Yeah, I mean, let's look two more. Sand, I think it's good. I've been looking pretty nicely on Sand. I think we are still developing impulsively in some type of a third wave. If this is a triangle or something else, I still cannot see. I see only 3 waves down, which indicates that Sand is still pretty much in the bullish uptrend. There is nothing indicating of the overall reversal in Sand, and I do think we are still going to consolidate here, maybe even go a little bit lower, and then we will be ready to move relatively nicely higher up to some pretty sizable levels on sand when this correction is done. So let me look one more. Sushi swap. Yeah, I have a wave count on Sushi Swap, which is actually working pretty nicely. 5 waves up in one, so I do consider this to be either a complex or A up in B. This is a leading diagonal. This might be an expanding one. So I do look a little bit lower levels in Sushi. 786, I will tell you where it is. But as you can see, this correction is perfectly portrayed in the corrective channel, as you can see. Okay, so we can measure some of the things here with the fib retracements, and 786 is pretty far. It comes around 1.02. We are trading in 4. I don't think we will come up to that point. I don't even think we will come to this 0.618. Let's see where is the 50% retracement, and let's do some of the internal ratios. And it comes around 3.37. Okay, so a little bit more downside. I will expect a reversal signature, 5 waves up and a pullback to confirm actually that this is a correction. I will not like to see this wave 2 starts to go much beyond these two levels here. Okay, so this is my target for now, and if we penetrate that on the downside, I will look for some wave structure for this to hold. I don't touch it until I see a reversal signature and a pullback, when my risk reward will be much more favorable than trying to catch the lows. So okay guys, thank you on the attention. I hope you find some use in these observations that we do on a Crypto Lab. Also, if you want to check our services, you can check tradinganalysis.com. We have a very sizable crypto service with a couple of new features. We also introduced a new short-term trading. We also going to roll out a couple of short webinars in regards of short-term trading in a month or two. And also we have a channel where we do exchange a lot of stuff, and there will be some also portfolios and a couple of that stuff. So a lot of new things in 2022 if you want to check us out. I think 27 bucks is a 14-day trial just to glance what we do there. So please be free to join. And take care, guys. COVID is still not past, but I hope very soon it will be just a regular thing in our lives. So thank you again on the attention, and subscribe, click the like button. You know already the story. That will help us for our view to get a little bit better rating than this one. And see you next week, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.